Hey everyone, this is Zach, and today we're going to go over all of the basics you need to know for Fruity Loops Studio by ImageLine. Fruity Loops is an outstanding DAW to create music and is available for both Windows and Mac OS. It comes with a perpetual license and also lifetime updates. Today, we're going to dive into the producer version. When you open FL Studio, its interface opens, showing the main toolbar on top and the browser panel on the left, where you can find samples, plugins, and effects. The main workspace is made by several windows that you can move and close as you like. You can reopen these with the buttons on the top. To start a new project, go to File and select New or New from Template to pick any ready template. At first, your project will be empty, as you can see from the playlist window, that you can open with the first button on top. Here, you can import audio files, make recordings, or add pattern compositions made with step sequencers or synthesizers. These all, put together, build the song that you export in the end. First of all, let's see how to compose with the channel rack, or step sequencer, from the third button on top. This allows you to create several independent patterns, made from several channels, one per row. These patterns will be pieces of music looped or repeated in time in the playlist window. Channels can represent beats, percussions, melodies, or even entire loops, playing once per each single step turned on. These channels may vary depending on the template you have chosen and start from a single pattern called Pattern 1. To compose, just click on any step to turn it on, and right-click on it to turn it off. You can play the pattern with the spacebar key or the player in the top left corner in PAP mode. The time counter is shown on top either in seconds or in bars and beats by clicking on it. On the left, you can click and drag on the tempo to change it. This is measured in beats per minute and sets the conversion from bars and beats into seconds, so you may increase it to get a faster pace. Moreover, the project starts with a default 4/4 as time signature, so you get 4 beats per bar as you can see from the channel rack. You can change the time signature from Options, Project General Settings. In the top right corner, you can also set a custom pattern length and add some swing between steps. To add other channels, use the plus button below and choose from loads of channels available. From the browser window, you can import other channels from channel presets, short impulses, and under packs, add drums, loops, risers, and vocals by simply dragging and dropping them onto your pattern. Remember that each step plays the channel entirely, so the loop if you added one. In this case, make sure not to have steps too close to avoid overlapped sound. Right-click on any channel to edit or delete it. Click on the channel name to change its sound properties, or the synthesizer options, if it is a composition. On the left side, use the green light to mute or unmute any channel, the first knob to adjust stereo panning, and the second knob to correct the volume level. When your first pattern is ready, you can create another pattern with the plus button on top with proper name and select it to show it on the channel rack. All patterns share the same channels list, but with different steps on or off, and different pattern length. To manage the selected pattern, click on the down arrow on the left. When making melodies or compositions with multiple notes, you may open the piano roll from the second button on top. First of all, select the appropriate channel on top and test its sound from the left. If the channel is an audio sample, you'll hear the same sound. If it uses a synthesizer, the piano roll plays different notes or several percussions per each row. Enable the Draw tool to drop notes onto the piano roll grid, possibly within the pattern length. If the channel has steps enabled from the channel rack, they appear as short C5 impulses by default. You can drag the edges of any note to adjust its length, and drag it to move in time or across rows, following the snapping options from the top left corner. Hold the Alt or Option key to ignore snapping. Right-click on any note to remove it, and zoom in and out with your mouse wheel while holding down the Control or Command key. At the bottom, the Control section allows you to adjust properties like velocity or pitch for each note by dragging up or down. You can also set channel properties like volume, panning, and pitch by drawing the envelope over time. Double-click on any note to customize its properties individually. Channels edited in the piano roll are displayed with their notes as rectangles and impulses as triangles. You can also drop any ready-made compositions from the browser window under Scores. With your compositions ready, open the playlist window. Depending on the template, you can have several custom tracks, though these are identical to any empty track. On the left side, switch to the pattern picker to choose a pattern and import it onto any track using the Draw tool. You can also import audio samples from your computer or from the browser panel. These samples will be listed as audio clips on the left. The playlist content is indeed your entire project song, with the timeline measured in bars and beats on the top. Patterns and audio clips are shown with their names, and a quick representation of the audio waveform or the note composition. To edit clips, click and drag to move them. Drag their edges to adjust length, and drag from the top corners to add volume fades. You can also drag the central node to adjust volume, and right-click on any clip to remove it. To check your project, click to set the starting point for the playback, and use the spacebar key to play and stop. Hold down the Control or Command key to restart the playback from the latest point of the marker. You can also play and stop from the top player in song mode. Next to the player controls, adjust the project volume with the first knob and the project pitch with the second knob. The pitch will affect the compositions but not the audio samples with rendered waveforms. You can also right-click and drag on the timeline to define a red region to loop continuously during the playback. On the left side, use the green button to mute or unmute an entire track, and enable the playback tool to play single clips on the go. FL Studio includes the mixer panel from the fourth button on top. This helps you manage the sound output from each channel in the channel rack. The number next to each channel corresponds to the insert channel number inside the mixer. That is completely customizable. You can mute or unmute any insert channel with the green button, and also adjust stereo panning with the knob, and the volume level with the slide bar at the bottom. You can also apply corrections and effects. Click on any empty slot on the right to add an effect. Click on its name to reopen its interface and change its properties. At the bottom, apply up to 3 audio filters. On the right, set the percentage of the effect over the original sound, and enable or disable the effect with the green button. Now, let's see how to record. First of all, go to Options, Audio Settings to check your input sources, whether it's a microphone or an external instrument. Once done, select any empty insert channel on the mixer and connect it to a playlist track by right-clicking on it and going to Track Mode, Audio Track. selecting the right insert channel. At this point, arm the insert channel and select the input source on the right. If the channel is responsive, start recording with the main record button and select Playlist in the list. You can finish the recording with the spacebar key and also disable the countdown from the top. To save your work and edit it anytime, use Ctrl or Command and S and get a project.flp file. Pay attention that you can't reopen projects if you own a trial version. To export your song, go to File, Export, and select the format to use. Set destination and file name, then adjust bit depth and quality options. On Mode, select Full Song to export the complete playlist content. Pattern to export the selected pattern, and Song Selection to export only the red region defined from the playlist. Click on Start to export. Well, there you have it. Those are all of the basics you need to know to start using Fruity Loop Studio. Feel free to check our website and our YouTube channel for more free guides on amazing software. And until next time, this is Zach, and I'll catch you later.